Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today is the day that I will be making a tier list video of all of End of the Road Hunt's Spirit Halloween 2025 ideas. Now, of course, you guys probably already saw my ranking video where I ranked 20 of them from worst to best, but now that all of them have been released, I'll be actually doing a complete ranking video on this tier list on Tier Maker. So I'll actually be ranking all of them now, which is great. So yeah, let's just get into it. Nightmarin, starting off with Nightmarin. By the way, my opinions may have slightly changed since I made that ranking video. Who knows though? But yeah, Nightmarin. I really like this one. It's really creepy and just so like the face is so dark and creepy. The whole prop is so dark and creepy, and the fact that it's just the animation, it just shakes. It barely even moves. It's so creepy. Like, this would be such a good static prop. Even if it was a static prop, it would be really creepy and good. But there are so many other good props or so many other good ideas that End of the Road Haunts has come up with that I'm going to have to put Nightmarin in B tier. Bertrand Blight. Now, this is a pretty interesting ghost type animatronic. I will say it has actually kind of grown off me since I made that last ranking video. But I still do like it. I think the face is really cool, and I think if it was actually released, the face sculpt would be really cool. I think it would oh, by the way, as I'm going here, I'm going to name what company I think would make them if they were actually released. So, Nightmarin. I think YJ would make Nightmarin. But Bertrand Blight, I actually think Crazy Create would make, because Bertrand Blight looks like an animatronic that would need to have a really freaking detailed face sculpt. And Crazy Create is known for doing really good with their detailing on the face sculpts. And yeah, I do like Bertrand Blight. This is another one going into B tier, I think. Not as good as Nightmarin, though. The Organ Player. This is an animatronic that, if it was released, I think it would be made by... That's a hard one. I think it would be made by either SVI or Crazy Create. Because then again, this is another prop that requires a lot of detail. So Crazy Create could come in and take the job of making this animatronic. But yeah, I really do like the Organ Player. It's a very unique animatronic, and it's very gruesome and gory. And it's just so disturbing to think about a man playing with his organs. It's just so creepy. I'm going to have to put him in A tier. Tommy Snuff. I really like this animatronic. Okay, he's really creepy. He's basically like a way better version of Nibbles the Clown, because, you know, he's got that motion tracking technology, and he's holding a camera, so it's like he makes it look like he's filming you, which is just so creepy. He's got a creepy mask on, and it doesn't show it in the photo here, but he's holding like a drill or whatever, and he's just so creepy, I think. And his audio is good too. But I think End of the Road Haunts did a good job on the voice acting for the majority of these animatronics here. Tommy Snuff, I'm going to put in A tier, but you're not going to believe it. I actually like him a bit more than the Organ Player. Husky. Now, this is a very, very, very unique Scarecrow animatronic. It looks like a monstrous, like, nightmarish Scarecrow. I don't even know how to describe it. It just looks so different from any other Scarecrow animatronic in history by any company. And that's what just makes it so cool and unique. And it really has grown on me. I'm going to put Husky at the top of A tier. I don't think I'd put it in S, just because there's some other animatronics here that are a lot better than even Husky. But Husky is still really good. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, Tommy Snuff obviously would be made by SVI, because he's a reskin of Nibbles the Clown. And Husky would be made by probably, I'm just gonna straight up and say Husky would be made by WoYu, which is the same company that made Nightmare Harvester. I'm just going to say that. But yeah, Husky, really good. Dead Obsession. Now, Dead Obsession is my #1 favorite Spirit Halloween 2025 animatronic idea by End of the Road Haunts. So, of course, he's going to go into S tier. If he was made, he would definitely be made by Crazy Create. Because, of course, with this prop, it would require a lot of detailing with the face sculpts of both him and the guy that he has. So yeah, it's a very creepy animatronic. I love the idea of him being obsessed over his girlfriend and wanting to kill her, and how he's killing the guy who basically ruined his relationship with his girlfriend. Really, really creepy shit there. The Bad Man. The Bad Man is another animatronic that would be made by Crazy Create if it was released, because it's very, very similar to Little Daisy and the Maestro and the Black Heart. I'm going to put the Bad Man. He's actually kind of grown off me. I'm going to put him at the bottom. At the top of B. He's very cool. He's a cool concept, but he's grown off me just because of the audio. I think the audio is a little bit goofy in my opinion. I think maybe no offense, End of the Road Haunts, but I think you did a bit of a goofy job on the audio. But I'm not trying to offend you or anything. It is what it is, Sometimes you need goofiness in Halloween animatronics. But I still think the Bad Man is a great prop idea, and he's just very cool. I love his face, how the teeth are in his mouth and eyes. So creepy. And I was just controlling the kid. The Hate Network Terminal. This is one that's going to be going in A tier for sure. I like it. Yeah, I'm going to put it right here in the middle of Husky and Tommy Snuff. I think the Hate Network Terminal, I don't know what company, I don't even know. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what the hell company would make it. To be honest, if this animatronic was released, I think it would have to be a completely new company, because there's no company right now that would make this sort of a crazy robot animatronic. But if I had to pick a company, I think it'd be SVI. But yeah, the Hate Network Terminal. Sorry, I can't speak. The Hate Network Terminal is a very cool towering zombie animatronic. I really do like the concept. And yeah, it's going in A tier. Stranger Danger, I believe that's the name. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is, I'm putting this in S tier. I really do. It's definitely one of my favorites of these ideas. I really do like Stranger Danger. It's very creepy. It's and as much as I want to say that I agree with End of the Road Haunts, this isn't really supposed to be a child predator prop. I kind of think it is. Okay, I consider it that, because if I saw this man near my kids, which I don't have kids yet, I'm not even old enough to have kids yet, but if I did have kids, I would not want this guy anywhere near them. Stranger Danger, definitely S tier. I think it's a very unique prop. We've never seen really any sort of kidnapper type prop from Spirit Halloween. And I just think he's really cool. I love the face. I love the audio. I love the animation. I love everything about him. Crashed Carney. This is another one going into S tier. And I have to say I like him a bit more than Stranger Danger. He's a very unique clown. Okay. I keep forgetting. God damn it. Stranger Danger. He'd be made by SVI. Crashed Carney would be made by Crazy Create. Crash Carney, really good. Really, a really gory and grotesque clown animatronic. I thought Poor George was really gory and just really freaking detailed, but the Crashed Carney is like Poor George 2.0. Poor George 2.0 is taking Poor George to a whole nother level. I really do like Crashed Carney. The audio is good too. That voice acting for this is really good. Spot on. Really good. But yeah, Crashed Carney, very cool. I love how it's a freaking basically dismembered clown who got into a horrible car accident. Slash, another really unique clown animatronic. I really do like her. I'm gonna put her. Do I like her? Yeah, I like her more than the Hate Network Terminal. I put her right here. She's very cool. I love how her face like slices up basically, and there's blood. It's very creepy and very gory. It's like I mentioned this a lot, but it's like a better version of Shirley Stab. Uh, she'd definitely be made by Techie because Techie made Shirley Stab. I think. Yeah, they did. So Techie would be making. Techie would make Slasha if she was actually released. Probably. Uh, Stage Fright. I'm gonna put Stage Fright in S tier, and I'm gonna put it right here. No, I have to. I like that more than Crash Carney. Stage Fright would probably be my second favorite Spirit Halloween 2025 animatronic idea by End of the Road Haunts. It's a very good, and I know you can't see the whole animatronic here, but it's a very creepy animatronic. It's like a I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a theater monster basically with a mouth in the chest with like very sharp teeth and a large tongue. It's very creepy. If this was released, I think the company that would make it would honestly be Party Time. To be honest, I'm gonna flat out say Party Time, and it's a shame. Okay, it's a shame that if this was released, Party Time would most likely be taking the job of making it because Party Time does not, as we all know, they don't. Their quality fucking sucks. But it's fine. You know, I really do like Stage Fright. It's definitely my second favorite idea from End of the Road Haunts. And yeah, Arts and Carnage. This one's really creepy and very unique. By the way, notice how we haven't even had any in C or in D tier yet. That's crazy. And notice how we're still not going to have one. I'm going to put Arts and Carnage. I think I like it more than the Badman just because of the voice acting on Badman. I like Arts and Carnage. I think it's a very unique type prop. It reminds me a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's props. It would definitely have to be made by SVI because, you know, Barnaby the Bear was made by SVI. Monty made by SVI. So Arts and Carnage would definitely be made by SVI. Yeah, I think it's a really unique and really creepy prop. I just don't think it compares to some of these others up here. Chip and Charlie. This is going to be the first animatronic that will be going into C tier. I think it's a very unique clown concept, and I think it's very cool. I mean, it looks really cool, and the design is just amazing. The whole concept of a conjoined clown is just really cool, but the audio is just what gets me. I don't really like the audio that much. No offense, End of the Road Haunts, but it's really goofy, and I've really began to be really sick of goofy clowns. So that's why I'm putting Chip and Charlie in C tier. I still do really like the concept of it. I just think the audio is just it's a goofy clown. So I'm just not as much of a fan of it as these other props. Blood Eagle. I'm gonna put him definitely in A tier. He's a Crouchy reskin, so you know he'd be made by Party Time, and Chip and Charlie would probably be made by SVI. But no, Blood Eagle, made by Party Time because he's a Crouchy reskin. I'm going to have to put him right here in the middle of Husky and Slasha. He is definitely a really good Crouchy reskin. In fact, dare I say he's better than Crouchy and Possessed Pumpkin? Yes, I do. He's a very creative type animatronic. He reminds me of Krampus, actually, with because of the giant beard and how tall he is. He's really cool. And I love the audio. I think it's really creepy. I love the idea of kind of like a possessed Viking type towering guy. Really cool. The Glutton, another one going into A tier. Now, I used to like the Glutton more than Blood Eagle, but now I've actually changed my mind. I think I like Blood Eagle a bit more than the Glutton. But I still do like the Glutton a lot. I think it's a very gross and gruesome type animatronic. It's pretty scary, but more gross. But I think gross is good sometimes for Halloween. You need a gross zombie animatronic every now and then, and the Glutton is the perfect example of that. He's really cool. He's like I mentioned this in the last video that I talked about these. He's like Buzzsaw's long lost brother, except he's a lot better than Buzzsaw, I think. Don't get me wrong, Buzzsaw is a great animatronic, but I think this guy is way more unique and way cooler. So yeah, that's the Glutton, and he'd be made by SVI because Buzzsaw was made by SVI. So yeah, here we have the first victim. Of course, he'd be made by Techie. The first victim has actually grown on me immensely. I think he's a very cool jump scare prop. I'm gonna put him a bit high in A tier, actually. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put him right here in the middle of Slasha and the Hate Network Terminal. I think it's a simple prop, but I love it. Like, it's a gory ass zombie with a really good face sculpt. So this could actually be made by either Techie or Crazy Create if I'm thinking about it. But I'd go with Techie just because they're more of the leaders of jump scare props. But yeah, the first victim, really, really cool. I love the gory zombie corpse coming out of the trash can. It's very unique, and it's a good jump scare prop. The Mad Gasser. This is another... Can I drag it? Can I not drag it? What's happening? What the hell? I can't drag any of these. Is it an error or something? What the fuck? Wait, please. Work. Oh, it's working now. Okay. The Mad Gasser. I'm going to put him at the bottom of A tier. He's a good prop. And I think we definitely need to see some sort of a gas mask man type animatronic from Spirit Halloween sometime in the future. I think it's about time we get one of those sometime. And I think the Mad Gasser is a pretty good example of that. I mean, he's not like insanely creepy. He's not gory. He's unsettling, I think. Just a silent guy who's laughing. His audio is kind of like him laughing a bit. And it's creepy laughter. And he's just moving from side to side with his, gas thing, and it's fogging. And his gas mask looks cool. Yeah, I think he'd be really cool. Let's see, what company would he be made by? He'd be made by whichever company made the Plague Doctor. And I forget which company made the Plague Doctor, so I can't say what company would make him. But yeah, he's a good one. Now here we have a returning animatronic, Swinging Scarecrow. I like him, but compared to all these crazy ideas that End of the Road Haunts has, I'm not going to be putting him that high. But I don't think I'd want to put him in B tier because I still think he's really cool and he's a classic animatronic. I'm going to put him at the bottom of A tier. I think that's fair. He's a very good swinging animatronic, and I do want to see him return sometime for Spirit Halloween. He's not as good as Pumpkin Nester, but, well, I don't know. I think he's very close to Pumpkin Nester, but I still like Pumpkin Nester more. This guy, I love his design, though. I love his face. He's one of the best Scarecrow props of all time, in my opinion. But, of course, Barnyard Butcher is way better. But, yeah, this is Swinging Scarecrow going in the bottom of A. And, of course, he's made by YJ. John Carver from Thanksgiving. I watched Thanksgiving, and I thought it was a decent horror movie. I mean, it was nothing really that special, but it was nice to watch. And it was definitely not something I regret watching. I'm going to have to put John Carver... I'm going to have to put him in C tier. I'm going to put top of C tier, though. I think he's better than Chip and Charlie. I just think he's into, a kind of a generic slasher type guy. So he's not really something that's special. It's not really something I want to see Spirit do, really. But I think it'd be interesting if they did. What company would make him? Probably Crazy Create, since Crazy Create did Beetlejuice. And I think they'd have a good sculpt design for John Carver. But yeah, he's going into C tier. Not great. Here we have Johnny from A Violent Nature. I think that's the name of the movie. And I haven't seen that movie, so I don't really have much of an opinion of this animatronic. But I'm going to put him at the bottom of B, just because I think his design is really cool. I think I don't really know what to think of this animatronic because I haven't seen the movie, but I just think his design is cool. The audio, maybe not so much, but whatever. He's cool. He just looks cool. It came from the smoke. This is going to go into S tier. This is actually straight up going to go into S tier. Right here. Right in the middle of Stage Fright and Crashed Carney. This is my third favorite Spirit Halloween 2025 idea by End of the Road Haunts. It's a very, very cool monster type animatronic, and it's very creepy. It reminds me kind of Slender Man, actually. And it's a reskin of Underworld Clown. Oh, by the way, Johnny, I don't even know what company he'd be made by, so I'm not going to say. But this guy, he'd definitely be made by... Did Morris Costumes make Underworld Clown? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they did. So I guess Morris would make this guy. It came from the smoke. But he's a really cool, creepy monster animatronic, and he definitely deserves S tier because he's definitely one of my favorite ideas of these. Very creepy. The King in Yellow, I think this is the name. It's a cool gigaprop idea. It's definitely better than Giant Death Ray. I wouldn't say I'd put it in A tier necessarily because this is going to sound weird, but I'm not really the hugest fan of gigaprops. That's kind of weird. Probably all of you are going to roast me in the comments for saying that, but that's just my opinion. I mean, I liked Giant Death Ray, but this guy's better than Giant Death Ray. This guy would be like probably somewhere in the middle of B tier, right here, I think, in the middle of Nightmare and Bertrand Blight. He'd be made by SVI, of course, because I'm pretty sure that's what Giant Death Ray was made by. Yeah. So the King in Yellow, he's a unique type gigaprop, but not my cup of tea. I forgot the name. Something in Rattling, I think. He's a reskin of Lucky Bottoms. And don't get me wrong, he is like a way better version of Lucky Bottoms and Lucky Liz. Way better than Lucky Liz, god damn it. But just the animation from Lucky Bottoms, I'm just not a big fan of. So, that being said, I'm going to put him at the bottom of C tier. He'd be made by Woe You, by the way, because that's the same company that made Lucky Bottoms. Electrified Corpse. Wait, no, that's not it. Electrified Maniac. This is an interesting returning prop. I'm not the hugest fan, to be honest. As a matter of fact, I'm not really a fan at all. I just never really got the hype of this guy. I'm going to put him at the top of C, though. Or maybe at the bottom of B. Yeah, bottom of B. I know this animatronic, but I don't know the name. But I know that I'm not a big fan of this animatronic. Is it an Untimely Death is the name, maybe? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Untimely Death. I've never been a big fan of this animatronic. I think it's kind of boring. I'm going to put her in D. And I'm going to put... oh, by the way. Jesus Christ. Oh, whatever. Untimely Death, I don't know what company made her. But this is Witchcraft going into D tier, the bottom of D tier. It's the worst Spirit Halloween 2025 idea by End of the Road Haunts, in my opinion. Just because it's kind of a simple type animatronic, and it's a small jump scare, so I'm not the biggest fan of it. It would be made by Techie, I think, if it was released. But yeah, so yeah, that's my tier list for End of the Road Haunts, all End of the Road Haunts Spirit Halloween 2025 animatronic ideas. Yeah, I had fun doing this. End of the Road Haunts, if you watched this, please leave a comment down below what you think of my list, if you agree with it or if you disagree with it, or if you don't even give a shit about this tier list. And no, I didn't know where I was going with that. But yeah, thank you, End of the Road Haunts, if you watched this video, and thank you for providing me with all these providing all of us with all these amazing ideas to look at and rank. These are all really cool and really creative, and I just love your creativity, End of the Road Haunts. I think you did a great job with all of these animatronics that I ranked pretty high, except the ones in D. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this tier list video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.